On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We're in some weird 5G warfare, and I really kind of think Gaetz, I think there was a lot of things going on, and I think we're going to speculate through some of them. Maybe multiple things are true, but I actually kind of think this was meant to be a distraction, a smokescreen. While he tried to clear some other stuff, tried to get some other people in under the radar, Hegseth or whatever, he might be one of them as well, because he might be the next noisemaker they're going to have to go after. But here's the thing. The media, the deep state, they already set up this whole big line of noise to make around this. They've already used a bunch of ammo. They've already used a bunch of money and effort. And then it's like, yeah, that's right. We're not going to use them anyway. And then it's like, now what? So they scramble for the next thing. And that person might get pulled, but it's buying time while he works through the actual list. The attorney general choice that Trump has come out with, we've got a bunch of information around. She's awesome. And funny, my ignorance coming forward here, for sure, I'm happy to admit it. I had never heard a peep from the attorney general of Florida, and I'm sure people that are Floridians are like, dude, this chick has been involved. But, you know, Paxton gets a lot of information. The dude from Missouri, can't remember his name anyway, but he has come up on the radar. Oh, well, now, Ms. Florida, absolutely on the calendar. So I get to have an egg on my face, if you will, and I'm stoked to, right? I'm stoked to have it, because this chick is a rock star, and I'm just surprised I missed her. So, yeah, we got a lot going on, a lot of good stuff to talk about. Got my music show coming up, so, and I had a really long work call today that we're trying to work through. So all said, it's just one of those days. Green Castle equals green light. This is interesting. There's been a lot of funny little Q posts that have kind of worked out. Generally, I kind of just like, whatever. It kind of accomplished what it needed to accomplish. And even if this one's like 100% true, maybe we're getting the green light, which what does that actually mean? Again, tough things. But there is a post that happened, post 206. It was posted on November 22nd, 2017. And it said, "Can't wait for the green light. Teams on standby." Well, the 22nd, it can't be actually though, because today's the 22nd and it's not nighttime yet. So this picture's got to be from the 21st. Okay. All right, but they're still talking about the green light. Maybe it's going to be lit up again, but okay, interesting. It's a day off. But they painted the White House green because of the Celtics coming and visiting. I don't know. I actually thought it was the same day, though, at first when I saw this. Day off is interesting, but I don't know. Green Castle, though, the whole, I don't know. A lot of stuff's been popping up. Newsacre and journalist Brian Williams, I think he had to quit because of lying. Anyways, he's got some interesting things to say around the Democrats and why they lost. And again, it's interesting to hear the people that actually come forward and give solid analysis rather than the people that continue to play the blame game for the deep state. It sounds like Brian Williams is not in the deep state circle per se right now, so he can kind of speak the truth.
I think it's insulting when members of the working class, which the Democratic Party has lost entirely in our lifetimes, to insist the economy is doing great. A 12-pack of Bounty is $40. Rich folks don't feel that. Poor folks already switched to Sparkle during the COVID, during the lockdown. And I think telling them that the NASDAQ is gangbusters is further insulting. It's insulting. I think the biggest unforced error of the Biden administration by far was the border. To tell people it's not a problem is insulting. For the working class to see incoming migrants getting welcome bags, debit cards, and motel rooms is probably insulting as well. So there's a lot of work to do. You know, it was when they handed out camo hats that said Harris Walls, and the Democrats they were kind of charmed by that. Their party has gone quinoa, and the rest of America's eating at Cracker Barrel. And so it was kind of an ironic use of something millions of Americans put on their heads to start their day every day. Yeah, they need to reach out to America again and be less about what's called suicidal empathy, worrying so much about minority groups in society and in your party that you win the argument, but you don't win the election.
Yeah. And that's the focus has been completely backwards. Again, we'll see who wins, who figures it out, who doesn't. I think we're in changing times for a reason. Nonetheless, U.S. Embassy is on a lockdown. We'll play this.
Where the U.S. Embassy is on lockdown as U.K. police continue to investigate a suspicious package. London Metro Police say reports of a loud bang near the U.S. Embassy was caused by a controlled explosion after officials discovered that suspicious parcel. And this just in, separately, London Gatwick Airport says a large portion of its south terminal has been evacuated as a precaution as officials investigate a security incident there. We'll keep you up to date as we learn more on both of these situations.
Yeah, so again, it was going to be sort of cheeky and be like, yeah, you should make bombs illegal, and then they would never happen. Again, I think there's some weird stuff going on. I don't think it's necessarily all bad people as much as it is deep state bad people. We'll see. Speaking of deep state bad people and Brazil, we've got a neat little thing that's coming out here. So former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, he spoke publicly after being indicted by the federal police for alleged involvement in a plan to overthrow the government following Lula's victory in 2022. So a bunch of details from this. One, Minister Alexandre de Moraes conducts the entire inquiry, adjusts testimonies, arrests without charges, engages in fishing expeditions for evidence, and has a very creative team. He does everything the law does not permit, Bolsonaro criticized. Also, we need to see what is in this PF indictment. I'll wait for my lawyers. This will obviously go to the Prosecutor General's office. That's where the battle begins. I can't explain anything from a team that uses creativity to accuse me. Sounds like Trump. Jair Bolsonaro and 36 others were indicted by the federal police on Thursday for alleged involvement in planning a coup d'etat. On Wednesday, the PF conducted an operation that arrested 6 military personnel accused of plotting to assassinate President Lula and Minister Alexandre de Moraes. Sounds fabricated to me. The PF revealed that one soldier approached the vicinity of Moraes' residence with the intent of arresting the magistrate. Bolsonaro's reference to the term creativity alludes to a message from Ayrton Vieira, I don't know, and advised to Moraes' officers Eduardo Tagliaferro, the head of the Special Attorney's Office for Combating Disinformation and Superior Electoral Courts. And, of course, use your creativity. This Vieira fellow wrote in response to Tagliaferro's concerns about the difficulty of formalizing a complaint against Revista Oeste. I should have just not chosen the story. That's in hindsight. I would rather have not even done the story. Just pretended you guys never learned that. You didn't need to. Yeah, anyway, Lula's trying to arrest, and Moraes, the Supreme Court justice that's taken over Brazil. Never seen a coup happen from the court again. Kind of trippy. UK lawmakers going to summon Elon Musk over alleged role in anti-mass migration riots. So now it's Twitter's fault. An American company, by the way. And it's somehow his fault. So again, this is going to be more, one, probably trying to fine him. Two, trying to control free speech that exists here in America because they don't like it. And this is also more of what the European Union's doing right now. We've even got the dude Milei from Argentina that's basically like, yeah, no, we're gonna actually invite Netanyahu over to our country, even though he's in Europe. He's like, yeah, I'm totally inviting him. Yeah, have a good time. It's going to be fun. Oh, I'm sorry, not Milei, because Argentina. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, it was from Hungary. He's going to invite Netanyahu over. We got the story coming up. But yeah, the leader from Hungary, trying to blank on his name. It's all right, we got the story. It'll come. Obrador, I think it is, right? I don't know, whatever. I want to give this guy a chance. Here's the thing. It's sad, too. When you kind of believe the words from and I'm sure anybody that's on the hard left side right now that's totally progressive is going to be like, dude, you're a Putin puppet, Dan. Yeah, sure, whatever. I play all sides, but I don't trust our government at all. Biden lies constantly. So, yeah, from anybody that's on that side of the fence, yeah, you're going to have a hard time with me and this story. From the standpoint of giving leaders a chance to express what's going on in the world, even though it might agree with what NATO is trying to push. Here's the thing. when I listened to this the first time, and I'm going to play it at I'm going to play it at 1.5 speed. So any of you guys listening to me faster, this is going to be super fast, whatever. You can deal with it how you want. It's 8 minutes long, so I'm going to speed it up a little. When I listen to the whole thing, I'm like, everything he says actually makes sense. It's not like he's saying anything radical. He's not like, oh, damn you and you guys and your capitalism. And he's not saying that stupid shit. He's like saying things that literally make sense. And they're not what I could even call lies. Our government's telling us one thing, sure, and he's telling sort of a different side of it, but we see what's happening. We just saw what Biden did. He didn't want to allow the use of ATACMS and other munitions long range because he knew it would escalate the war, and that would be bad before the election. Since the election's already happened and they lost and all that's done, now they're going to escalate. That just shows where the deep state is involved in relative to this government. They know they're going to lose power. They're trying to draw that out as long as they can with the appeasement or the appeal, trying to get the people into government. All of this, the appointment process, there it is. All of this is just trying to delay this because ultimately, once people get in place, deep state's toast. Toast. So Putin, I think he deserves the chance to talk. It's obviously got someone speaking English to say what he's saying. Thank God, because I don't speak Russian.
I want to inform the personnel of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, citizens of our country, our friends worldwide, and those who continue to harbor illusions about the possibility of strategically defeating Russia, about the events unfolding today in the zone of the special military operation, particularly following the use of Western-manufactured long-range weapons against our territory. Continuing their course toward escalating the conflict in Ukraine provoked by the West, the United States and its NATO allies have previously announced their authorization for the use of their long-range, high-precision weapons systems against the territory of the Russian Federation. Experts know well, and the Russian side has repeatedly emphasized, that the use of such weapons is impossible without the direct involvement of military specialists from the countries that produce them. On November 19th, 6 ATACMS tactical missiles produced by the United States, and on November 21st, during a combined missile attack with Storm Shadow systems from the UK and HIMARS from the US, strikes were carried out against military facilities on Russian territory in the Bryansk and Kursk regions. From this moment on, as we have repeatedly stated, the regional conflict in Ukraine, provoked by the West, has acquired elements of a global nature. Our air defense systems countered these attacks, and as a result, the goals set by the enemy were not achieved. The fire caused by debris from ATACMS missiles at a munitions depot in the Bryansk region was extinguished, with no casualties or significant damage. In the Kursk region, the attack targeted one of the command posts of our Sever grouping. Unfortunately, the attack and the ensuing air defense engagement resulted in casualties among the external security personnel and service staff. However, the command and operational staff of the command post were unharmed and continue to direct our troops' operations in expelling enemy units from the Kursk region. I want to emphasize again that the enemy's use of such weapons cannot influence the course of military actions in the special military operation zone. Our forces are successfully advancing along the entire line of contact. All the objectives we set for ourselves will be achieved. In response to the use of American and British long-range weapons on November 21st, the Russian armed forces carried out a combined strike on a Ukrainian defense industrial facility. During the operation, we tested one of Russia's newest medium-range missile systems under combat conditions, using a ballistic missile equipped with non-nuclear hypersonic technology. Our missile specialists have named it Oreshnik, Hazel. The tests were successful, and the target was hit. In the city of Dnipro, Ukraine, we destroyed one of the largest industrial complexes, known since the Soviet era, which continues to produce missile technology and other weapons. The development of medium and short-range missiles is a response to U.S. plans to manufacture and deploy such missiles in Europe and the Asia-Pacific region. We believe the U.S. made a mistake by unilaterally withdrawing in 2019 from the INF Treaty, Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, under a fabricated pretext. Today, the U.S. not only produces such weapons, but, as we see, also trains its forces for their deployment to various regions, including Europe, and conducts exercises for their use. Let me remind you that Russia voluntarily and unilaterally committed not to deploy medium and short-range missiles until similar American weapons appear in any region of the world. The testing of the Oreshnik missile system under combat conditions is a direct response to NATO countries' aggressive actions against Russia. The decision to further deploy medium and short-range missiles will depend on the actions of the United States and its satellites. Targets for future strikes during tests of our new missile systems will be determined based on threats to Russia's security. We reserve the right to use our weapons against military facilities in countries that permit their weapons to be used against our facilities. In the event of escalating aggression, we will respond decisively and in kind. I recommend that the ruling elites of countries contemplating the use of their military contingents against Russia seriously consider this. In cases where strikes on Ukrainian territory using systems like Oreshnik are deemed necessary, we will proactively warn civilians and citizens of friendly countries in these areas to evacuate. We will do this publicly and openly out of humanitarian considerations, without fear of interference from the enemy, who will also receive this information. Because there are currently no means to counteract such weapons. These missiles strike at speeds of Mach 10, 2.5 to 3 kilometers per second. Modern air defense systems worldwide, including those developed by the US for deployment in Europe, cannot intercept such missiles. It is simply impossible. Let me reiterate, it was not Russia but the United States that destroyed the international security system. By clinging to its hegemony, the US is driving the entire world toward a global conflict. We have always preferred and are still ready to resolve disputes through peaceful means. However, we are also prepared for any developments. If anyone still doubts this, they are mistaken. There will always be a response.
Yeah, so things are going in the wrong direction, for sure. And that's what was happening anyway when Biden/Deep State was in charge. But yeah, now we're seeing it going even further and worse. NATO and Ukraine to hold emergency talks after Russia's attack with new hypersonic missiles. Literally, we had no ability to stop them. They're hypersonic. Impossible to stop with current technology, or at least unlikely, and will take some serious time, not to mention the fact that it was 6 separate warheads, or MIRVs, that struck at hypersonic speeds. So all one just needs to get through, especially if it's a MIRV, for example, is something that can deliver a nuclear payload. Russia demonstrated, we can nuke you, you can't stop us. Now, we can nuke back. All right, who wins that? Now, there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, we might be able to use a nuke here and there and get away with it. No, nukes are like the big no-no. You use a nuke and all sorts of things start to happen. Department of Defense adjusts nuclear deterrence strategy as nuclear peer advisories escalate. Who's escalating this? We are, not anyone else. The United States is escalating this, and England. We are escalating this. Let's have no mistakes about that. This is unacceptable. And here we are changing our nuclear doctrine as well so we can have a nuclear war. That sounds freaking awesome. Here is Lavrov, the Russian Minister of Foreign Affairs, saying some typical shit that's fitting for right now. And frankly, I tend to side with these guys right now. I'm an American and I love this country, but the people in charge of this country right now are horrific, evil bastards.
As to what we can expect from Biden and his outgoing administration, well, the deliveries of ATACMS missiles and the way they allowed the British and the French to use their own missiles, well, this is in a way an attempt to leave as bad a legacy as possible to the next administration.
Yeah, I mean, essentially they're trying to slash and burn. They're trying to destroy what exists. Again, the system in the world, there's a lot of writing on the wall. Come at it how you would like. I know a great company that can help you get out of your 401k and your IRA, tax-free, penalty-free. They can literally help you get out of it, tax-free, penalty-free, and reasonably quickly. Get you into precious metals, which right now are spiking and historically have always spiked. Well, silver's always spiked when crazy things have happened and then it comes back down. Gold has been going up and up and up since we detached from the $35 per ounce gold standard. Since that day, gold has continued to go up, and right now it's going reasonably ballistic because of inflation. The system, I don't know. Don't trust it myself. I feel safe and comfortable with precious metals. That's why I've myself used gold to purchase some precious metals, and I'm happy I did. Right now, the prices of gold and silver have gone up quite a bit this year. There's still a lot of room for growth, we expect, and we know that the deep state is not planning on doing any favors to Donald Trump on the way out. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system. Their system, frankly, I don't know. I don't want to try to paint Goldco into believing the crazy stuff I believe, but their system's just not doing well. Inflation's a definite proof of that. 25% buying power has been reduced in the last 4 years. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Out of their system, tax-free, penalty-free. It's physical gold, and you are safe and good for the running. And then you're now managing your future rather than some asset manager, and God knows what they're investing in. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. J.D. Vance posted this in regards to Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz' post. I had excellent meeting with senators yesterday. We shared this post, and I appreciate their thoughtful feedback and their incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance campaign. J.D. Vance posted, I'm extremely grateful for the work Matt put into the nomination process. He made his decision to withdraw entirely out of respect for President Trump's administration. Matt is a patriot, and I look forward to seeing what he does next. Almost exactly what Trump said. Now, Daily Mail brings this up. Can Matt Gaetz return to Congress, or could Ron DeSantis make him a senator? What's the next move for him? So he, of course, abruptly resigned, but his nomination immediately received pushback from Democrats, right? So this isn't moving forward. His House exit ended the committee's jurisdiction over Gaetz, leaving the findings of the probe in limbo. So one thing that came from this, Matt Gaetz got out of that probe that was probably going to come public and probably would have looked bad on Matt. I don't know what Matt's actually guilty of. Obviously, FBI couldn't convict him of anything, so I think all it would have been is a smear campaign. And that's what the deep state's always done. I mean, think Kavanaugh. And there was somebody that was talking about how we're going to put a female attorney general in there. So what are they going to do now? And it's like, well, they went after Comey Barrett. They did all sorts of crazy shit to take her down. So it doesn't matter if it's a girl or not. They don't give a shit. They're going to attack whoever the hell it is. They're going to attack them. I think we're in a much stronger place now. But so the Gaetz thing, the re-election's a big question. So supposedly, yes. Supposedly he could be sworn in. He could choose to, I think, maybe some agreements with Johnson, or I don't know exactly how it works. Maybe he's got to make an agreement with the governor of Florida, DeSantis. So that's possible. He could also get shifted into Senate. That's possible, right? So they say, should Gaetz not return to the House, that vacant seat would need to be filled through a special election, which Gaetz already started that process on. After Gaetz' nomination was announced last week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had called for an immediate special election, so that's moving. There are two other possibilities that could bring Gaetz back to Washington in the new year if he does not return to the House. One less likely scenario is Gaetz could be appointed to fill the Florida Senate seat being vacated by outgoing Senator Marco Rubio. Or some lawmakers have already signaled they are open to the possibility of Gaetz becoming a senator, but the other option is that he may somehow be involved in something else within Trump's world. And special counsel was one of the things. Some people think that's kind of unlikely as well. But again, that was one that's kind of thrown out. There's a lot of thoughts are being thrown out. Not sure what is going to happen, but we do have Gaetz kind of chiming in too. I guess in a second. I do have it coming up. Now, Dave Rubin posted this. Maybe I'm off on this, but the Gaetz thing seems like this. Gaetz was being investigated, which by stepping down from Congress closes that investigation. Now he steps down before DOJ confirmation hearing, which doesn't dredge that stuff up. He isn't in Congress anymore, but investigation closed and moves to private sector. Trump did a solid for someone who has always fought for him. And now media has to move to onto freaking out about someone else, probably Hegseth, since they can't go for Gaetz anymore, but they look more ridiculous going after Hegseth than Gaetz. So it's kind of a win for everybody. And we get to see how the system kind of moves. right? It doesn't matter who it is. It's going to start firing that laser beam at the next person. It's just the way the weapon works. But this is interesting. Maybe Gaetz, maybe something happened. Maybe there was something he got embroiled with. He ended up paying some money, did it maybe the way he shouldn't do it. Don't know. But it might have been an out for him to protect his name, to protect his future, his family, his family's name. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this gets him out of that entirely. Maybe at some point he gets brought in on something that he doesn't need an appointment for, and then they can call him a whatever. It's an interesting point. Matt Gaetz says he's not returning to Congress next year. He said Congress specifically. Not the House, but Congress, which means it sounds like the Senate's out. So Laura Trump's probably going to be the replacement for Marco Rubio. We'll see how that plays out, but likely. So it looks like Gaetz is out of any place where they can shine a spotlight on these potential infidelities that the FBI did not go after him for, and we know they would have. But the House wanted to use it in a way to smear him, especially considering what he's done to help this Trump movement. So I kind of feel like he was a piece in this cog that was always sort of meant to not be what we thought he was. And again, this is, I think, illustrative of how hard it is to tell what's actually going on and how so many of us are making up our minds, I think, way before we should. But I don't know. I think there's a lot to learn from this. I wish Gaetz the best. I feel like he's been an admirable House member, certainly made a huge difference. So a lot of good things going on. Matt Gaetz posted this. I don't know if we have a date on when he posted it. Yeah, today, 22nd. Cool. Said, stock trading is such a huge part of Congress. It shouldn't be. I can't wait to tell all of these stories of corrupt treason and betrayal. Coming soon. So what he's doing, I don't know, he's hinting. He's involved in something, but this is tying around, who's this gentleman down here? Representative Josh Gothemeier. He has disclosed a purchase of stock in the Fair Isaac Corporation. FICO is a credit scoring service. Gothemeier sits on the House Financial Service Committee. So this stock, since he purchased it, has gone up like over 108%. Well, 108%, they're saying. Insider trading. Again, and this is one of those sleaze bags out there too. So, yeah, here we are again. Now, MSNBC is doing a weird thing right now. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if this is just part of what they're doing or if they're trying to just guarantee either we make it work or no one can have it. But MSNBC's Rachel Maddow, her salary is being cut by $5 million a year. Now, for a lot of you, they're like, holy crap, that's a bunch. It is. It's a sixth of what she makes. That's a lot of money, unquestionably. But she's still going to be making $25 million. Not too shabby. They consider her to be the kind of the brains behind this whole brand. The brand that, well, many are questioning whether or not it's even going to make it. So they did a new contract for her. Now, what's interesting is MSNBC, and we've got some stories to sort of back this up, is having problems, is likely going to get cut. We were talking about that yesterday. ABC's The View is another one, and MSNBC is, like the entire network, is likely going to be cut. Just entirely from NBC, be like, you're on your own. You either make your own budget or whatever. So what there's discussions around is the potentiality of like Musk buying it, for example. But if Musk bought MSNBC, wouldn't he have to pay her salary of $25 million? And to me, that seems weird. Now, she's supposedly a pretty smart girl, and I don't know if she's just playing the part and this is where she's at. I don't know. And if we had a different ruler, if you will, if Musk was in charge, would she play ball on our side of the fence, knowing that was the right move to make? That's a great question. So it's weird what's going on. MSNBC is probably not long for this world. And the Democrats are extremely terrified. I'm going to go ahead and play this little Senator Blumenthal crap, introducing a bill to try to put constraints on Trump. Again, this is their attempts to try to stop Trump before he gets into office because they know what's coming. They know it's coming, and it's not going to be good for them. So there's some panic.
In the case of the Department of Justice, if there are orders to troops...
The Department of Defense.
...to shoot in case of a protest or a gathering in a church basement or any kind of meeting, there is no restraint of the same kind. And so what this kind of threat represents is something profoundly dangerous to our democracy. And that's why I have actually proposed a measure that would constrain the Insurrection Act, which is the legal basis for the president to order this kind of military intervention on American soil. And remember, we use the military to defend our nation. We do not use it against our own citizens on American soil. And that's the basis of our constitutional principle and also the Insurrection Act. Unfortunately, the Insurrection Act is so broad that he could misinterpret it. It's not just about Donald Trump. It's a weakness in our present law that could be misused by an independent or a Democrat in that same office. We ought to move to correct it. But right now, we can see the fire on the horizon, and we ought to do something about it, because I think our Republican colleagues ultimately will be judged harshly by history if we fail to do so. And so I think this concern about the misuse of the military also deeply concerns our military.
So there's the Posse Comitatus Act, by the way, so you can't use military on U.S. soil. So this is sort of a silly thing. And the secondary thing that's just fun to call out is, God, you guys didn't care about this stuff at all for the past 4 years while the government was literally going after Trump. Now all of a sudden you're worried about the government, mostly military in this case, but, you know, the government or the arm of the government. It was Joe Biden, I think, that kept frequently saying, what's an AR-15 going to do for you when we've got F-15s? I'm paraphrasing, but he said it more than once. So there's some concerns they have, it seems. Riley's murderer. This is just amazing. MSNBC, again. And they wrote a story how there was no way that Laken Riley's killer was ever going to stand a chance. That he got the worst sentence that he could get. And they did this whole entire sob story for the killer. MSNBC. I'm not going to read the whole thing from it. It's not worth it. The House Oversight Committee demanded Friday that FEMA respond to new allegations that it has discriminated against Trump supporters when distributing emergency relief. Again, investigation, the letter, now they're demanding that they give the information. So we'll see what comes from it. I'm sure it's Comer or Jordan or one of those two. I forget which one is writing this particular letter. But yeah, there it is, Comer, right? It's always one of those two guys. Very cool. Now, something that's, I thought, funny, ironic, I mean, typical. I don't know. He's probably a perfect candidate, is my first thought. So Chuck Roca, he's a convicted felon who embezzled union funds. He's eyeing a bid for the DNC chair. Yeah, you think he's going to be laundering money out of the DNC? He got busted. Convicted felon. Not like what they did with Gaetz, where it was just allegations and whatnot, but allegations that are hard to probably explain away. So yeah, former advisor to Bernie Sanders' 2016 campaign said this week he is seriously considering a run for the DNC chair to shake up. Well, this dude, he's a major CNN contributor too. He was convicted of embezzling funds from a major labor union. Yeah, you know, just in case you were wondering, do they have a problem with career criminals? No, they prefer them. In fact, Trump gains ability to fill 4 appellate judge seats under the U.S. Senate deal. Weird deal. I was kind of surprised on this one, and whatever. I assume we don't have the numbers to stop them, so this was maybe a way to slow them or save the senators from having to do a filibuster for like days on end or something. I don't know. But U.S. Senate Democrats and Republicans clinched a late-night deal on Wednesday that clears the way for votes on a group of President Joe Biden's nominees for federal trial courts in exchange for not pushing forward with 4 nominees to serve on appellate courts, leaving vacancies that Republican-elect Donald Trump will get to fill. Appellate courts are going to matter greatly. Federal trial courts matter, but it's federal, and well, we're probably going to gut those anyway, let's be totally honest. So, I don't know. Maybe a win, maybe not. I don't feel real good about this, frankly, but it sounds like, powdered sugar on a turd. That's what it sounds like, frankly. Yeah, you said it. I didn't. Maybe I said it and you didn't. Either way, we're saying it. Yeah. Donald Trump posted this appointment. I am proud to announce former Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Pam Bondi, Pam Bondi, as our next Attorney General of the United States. Pam was a prosecutor for nearly 20 years, where she was very tough on violent criminals and made the streets safe for Florida families. Yes, and she's done a lot of things. We're going to get into a bunch of it anyways. This was back during the 2020 election, and how she was very involved in that back then. I didn't realize all this. This is Pam Bondi. I got new love for you, sweetheart. Thank you.
To correct a couple things your reporter said, we do have evidence of cheating, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but we are still on the ground in Pennsylvania. I'm here right now, and we are not going anywhere until they declare that we won Pennsylvania. We're watching this. So you see they're trying to suppress us from coming in, even the convention center, where the ballots are being counted. So yes, we have intervened in the case involving Bukhar. She is the Secretary of State. The law makes it very clear in the U.S. Constitution that the legislature, they are the ones who determine the time, place, and manner of votes. Not her. She's come in and tried to change the rules of the game. She's a member of the executive branch, and that is not her job. So we're going back in the U.S. Supreme Court there. The case that we filed that will be being heard momentarily this morning, Ainsley, is one in state court. We have appealed that. What I saw on the ground yesterday should not happen to any candidate, Democrat nor Republican, in this country. You are allowed to observe the process when your votes are being counted. You have there, and we followed all the rules. You're allowed 15 people in, only residents of Pennsylvania, all these strict criteria. We have our people ready to go. It's not a mob of people. We were with all our people last night, 15 people, well-educated, prepared on the issues. All they want to do is observe the vote counting process. Because as you know, a lot of these ballots came in late, they were stamped, and we just want to see that they were stamped properly.
Right.
So what they've done, they put up, it looks like a police barricade all around the convention center. They let them in the room, but they can't observe anything. For every vote that came in late, that was postmarked late, that
November 4th?
discounts after November 4th. On November 4th. That discounts, on November 4th, that discounts every legal vote that came in.
Yep.
So that means all the good residents who are all supporting us in Pennsylvania, their votes don't count by these fake ballots that are coming in late.
What,
And back
Pam?
to the observation, they're not letting us watch the process.
Pam, did you just say fake ballots?
There could be. That's the problem. If they're letting,
Do
we
you have
don't
any-
know, Steve.
Do you have you heard stories of, ballots that are fake? And if so, just tell us what you know.
Well, we know that ballots have been dumped. There were ballots that were found early on. We've heard that people were receiving ballots that were dead. The thing that's happening all over
Were
the
they
country.
legal ballots?
Well, no, not if people were receiving ballots where they were deceased. That's the problem. And that's why the supervisor of elections cannot extend. She wants to keep extending this process. And these two lawsuits go hand in hand. All we want to do is observe what's happening.
Pam?
Right now, within that convention center, I heard this late last night. We were with all the people on the ground at 10 o'clock last night. They told us now they've even put up huge trash cans. If something's not wrong, why won't they let us observe?
Yeah, they are just, obviously they didn't like what she was saying, which, I get, especially back then. But nonetheless, she's been a stout fighter. Pam Bondi exposed Hunter Biden, called out Letitz James, condemned all the lawfare, and has been a strong advisor to Trump. So we've got that. Did I miss one? No, this one's good. This is Pam Bondi. FBI not prosecuting Clinton proves the system is broken. So FBI Director James Comey on Sunday told Congress that nothing in newly discovered Hillary Clinton emails indicates that she should face charges. But Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi says she still believes Clinton is not qualified for the job with a security clearance, such as the presidency, because she was extremely careless. Sunday afternoon, Bondi told Fox's Neil Cavuto that Clinton would have had a hard time getting a security clearance. How can we have a president who cannot have security clearance, Bondi said. That's unreal to me. So there's another example of her doing some pretty crazy fun stuff. Here is her talking about Bill Clinton and just some of the crazy with him.
Well, we know he was on the plane, not only on the plane a couple times, multiple times. He traveled internationally with Jeffrey Epstein. And he was on the plane called the Lolita Express because it supposedly had a bed in there where Jeffrey Epstein had young girls. He has been a friend of his, a continuing friend of his for years and years. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who hasn't spoken to him in many years, over a decade, after he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for bad behavior. So that's the difference there. And I think Americans see the two-tier justice system. But, you know, we don't know. They're saying Clinton has not been to his private island, but he has traveled all over the world with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
So, yeah, she has been a staunch fighter, better word. So powerful. I don't know. Well, we'll see if she's allowed to get in there. Who are they going to go after next? And that's another thing. I think Trump's got I got more people I can put in. I know who I can trust and I know who I can't. So maybe keeping them busy, Hegseth might be like that entirely. Literally might be for that entirely. Like they're going to have to focus on him and then we start working Bondi through. Be powerful. Mitch McConnell announces his new post for the 119th Congress. He's not stepping out of the way. He's just stepping out of the spotlight. He still plans on staying in control or being heavily involved. So this is a deep state component. Mitch, buddy, I don't know. I'm just going to say, if you're in the way, it's going to be exposed. That's it. I pray you're here to help with the bigger movement, but I don't think you are. We're seeing and hearing a lot of rumors right now that you're not helping. We'll see. He intends to play an active role in this urgent mission as chairman of the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Defense. And I look forward to working closely with incoming chair Susan Collins to accomplish our shared goal. I wonder if he's got a bunch of defense stocks as well, because he wants to stay on that same place where I'm sure Lindsey Graham is. So whatever, we'll see how it plays. They want more war. They're expecting more war. That is their plan. Trump's going to get us out of that stuff, but it'll play out how it plays out. It will play out when it plays out, too, for that matter. Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey concedes to Dave McCormick. Dave McCormick was the Republican guy. He is now officially, quote-unquote, won the Pennsylvania senator race. I don't know. Kind of felt like that was sort of called already, but whatever. Dan Scavino Jr. posted this kind of strange thing. I wonder if heads would explode if I moved just a little bit north and ran in the special election for Elise Stefanik's seat in New York 21. But she's going to the United Nations, so she's going to be opening up that seat as well. It would be funny if Dan Scavino ran for it. Georgia's chief election official, he just certified for Georgia. Raffensperger, by the way, just certified for Trump. Trump officially won Georgia. He's announced that. That is now signed into law. NATO nominee Whitaker also faces confirmation hurdles. This is another guy that we should like a lot. We confirmed, let's see, Whitaker is a U.S. attorney, talking head, lobbyist, advocacy group chief who served in Trump's first term for 3 months as acting attorney general before joining an outfit that does campaign consulting and lobbying. He appears to have no experience in foreign affairs. In his favor, Whitaker seems to have been effective as the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Iowa, where he earned a reputation for aggressively prosecuting crimes related to methamphetamine and other drugs. Even if in that job, though, he was slapped down by judges or juries for several high-profile cases. Like, I mean, come on. You got Jack Adams or Jack Smith right now, right? So, come on now. Come on. Can't be like that. The dude's been smacked down multiple times already, even again. So this guy's going to be a tough fight, the NATO nominee. But he is good. I wish I don't think I have the picture of him. pulled up. We'll see. I thought I had something. I had a better article. And obviously, that means a lot to you right now because I'm not sharing it. Yeah, he's a good one. We're gonna see. He's a bald dude, white guy. I don't know. Can't describe him. I could look him up. We should do that maybe. I don't know. Maybe could. Let's do it. Whitaker. Can I just spell it right? Even. Probably not. Whitaker. Sweet. I was not gonna spell that right. Yeah, there's the dude. Let's see if we can get some images just to make it more fun. That's definitely not him. This is him. This dude. Do I got any better images? I forgot about the actor Whitaker. He's good stuff, man. He was in Good Morning Vietnam. Anyway, small little detour. Got one picture of the dude. There he is. Here's another one. You guys probably remember him. I vaguely remember him. He reminded me of a pretty good dude. So whatever the case is, he's the guy for NATO, which kind of fun. Yeah, Trump-Vance transition team has still not signed documents required to formally begin the transition of power, the White House says. This is very interesting. So Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, so right off the bat, this sounds like this is a deep state thing. And she told reporters Thursday that our teams continue to stay in touch, and as of now, the Trump-Vance transition team has not yet entered into the agreements with the White House and the General Services Administration, the GSA. Not signing the documents means the government can't provide security clearances and briefings to incoming administration officials, and the FBI can't screen Trump's picks for the cabinet and other key posts, which Trump doesn't want them to do. Continuing, some of the other perks that you would get for signing this if you were Trump. The agreement also provides office space, IT equipment, office supplies, fleet vehicles, mail management, and payments of compensation and other expenses. But here's the thing. They provide you all that equipment and office space. Well, they're bugging it all. They're going to be stealing data from you. We know that. Trump knows that. He's not playing this game again. So he's like, no, thanks. We'll get there when we get there. I'll sign it the day before I become president. Which, by the way, this sounds like he might not be getting necessarily the security briefings that he's supposedly getting per a post yesterday. So maybe that's even up in the air a little bit. We'll see. It's very interesting. Dan Scavino Jr. posted this. I'm currently at Mar-a-Lago and 4547 is in a meeting. The movements being reported by the unofficial pool who are staked outside of the property of cars, vans, ambulances, and helicopters hovering above are that of Vice President-elect J.D. Vance's motorcade. Nothing more, nothing less. Sadly, they thought they were on to something more. Hopefully they clarify and correct immediately. What is this? There's been a bunch of stories, and they leaked all over fun places. Now, some people didn't correct them. Some did, and so that should tell you a lot. The people that corrected them, I say power to them. If it took them all day to do it, and they posted a bunch of stuff before and a bunch of stuff after, I would say I'd be concerned burying it like that. But those that didn't ever bring it up, they're trying to lead with the lie and keep the lie going. So it's always good to see. But yes, there was a big story that something bad had happened, and they were taking an ambulance out of Mar-a-Lago, and I don't know if they were saying it was Trump or what, or if we were just supposed to speculate. Whatever the case was, it was J.D. Vance's motorcade. They always have an ambulance with them in case someone gets hurt or something happens. Mershon, okay, let's hope we can get back to that. Cool. Mershon is maybe dropping this case. I don't know. We're going to let a minute and a half of this article. I probably should have just read it, but if I remember correctly, but we're going to go ahead and play it anyway. I'm going to be lazy.
Fox News alert now and some developments in the hush money case of Donald Trump in a New York City courtroom. The New York judge, Juan Mershon, has granted Trump permission to file a motion to dismiss that case. He's already said that he was going to delay sentencing for a little while. He says now that he is going to delay sentencing even further. How long this goes on is anybody's guess at this point. Obviously, the judge is going to consider this motion to dismiss. Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan DA, agreed that Trump's attorneys should have an opportunity to file a motion to dismiss to be considered by Judge Mershon. But here's the thing, is that Bragg and his office are willing, if Judge Mershon does not grant the motion to dismiss, Bragg and his office are willing to wait until January 20th, 2029 to resume this case. They said that they're willing to put it on hold for more than 4 years and then start it all back up again when Trump leaves office. I mean, that is by any stretch of the imagination unprecedented in American judicial history. So very soon, we don't know when Trump's attorneys will file this motion to dismiss, but we should hear very soon. And then we'll get Judge Merchan's decision on it after who knows how long. Jillian?
They may be filing it as we speak.
It could be.
Considering they expected this was coming down the pike.
So yeah, they might this might drop entirely, and then what? I mean, the deep state's going to try to keep this parked, and not even back burnered, even really just parked, and then maybe we'll reseal it and put it in the freezer and heat it back up when it's time, but not ever remove it from the kitchen. Just to go with the analogy, I guess. But that's illegal, especially to carry it for 4 years, because there's a law that says you have to actually try this within a year or give a sentence within a year. So he's going to have to give a sentence or kill the case. So I don't know. The second he gives a sentence, immediately the appeal process begins, because that needs to actually happen before he can appeal it. So this is a weird thing going on. The game is interesting. So obviously the deep state doesn't want to have to finalize it, because then it puts an end to this, he's a felon. No, he's not. And we'll find out very soon, because the appellate court's going to just annihilate Merchan's case. It was horrible. Here it is, Viktor Orban. Yeah, I don't know if I ever got his name or not. He invited Netanyahu to Hungary as the ICC warrant divides Europeans. And Orban's like, here, you come here, I ain't going to arrest you. And if anyone tries to, I'll punch him in the face. He didn't say that, but, that's kind of something. Hungary's, well, they're hungry. Can't be funny. Not really. All said. I think I've made a reach that really wasn't worth it. Why? Fuck. Whatever. Cameras. I'm having just issues today. Today has just been a tough day. Pet Club 247. I love these guys. By the way, I've picked up a new sponsor that is super cool. I'm getting the products sent to me now, and we'll talk about them when we get there. But it's the lady that talked to me about it. Very excited. And she's from and shares the same advertiser that I already have with, and it's one that I don't talk about as much. Good products, and she's kind of the same way. And I got that vibe, and she's like, but these guys are amazing. So I'm going to try it, and I'll let you guys know. And if it's even half of what I think it is, we'll be talking about it probably within a couple weeks. But good stuff, all in all. That said, Pet Club's the same way. I love these guys. I love them. And they've got products that are actually going to help keep your little ones, your four-legged creatures, healthy longer. They've got a mushroom. There's a whole bunch of studies that have been done on it. They've got research on this tab here. You can talk about it. Coriolis versicolor is a mushroom that just has huge benefits to the immune system in multiple animals. We've got studies primarily for cats, dogs, horses, and people, but probably other animals as well. Just saying. There's a lot of fun ways to get into this product, and there's certainly been reviews. I don't know if the review page is up yet. I hope it is. Of course not. Still in positive news coming. But there used to be reviews a long time ago. There's fantastic stuff. A lot of people have talked about how this has really made a big difference in their animals' lives. So when you go to the shop tab, you can see the different products. There's Mush Puppies. That's the easy way to get in. $28.99, just a cheap way to get in, and it's like a cookie you'd give your dog every day. Mojo's is a liver treat. So this is the thing that cats are offered, as well as dogs, because dogs will eat it too. But cats, they're not going to eat the Mush Puppy. They're not going to like a cookie. Most cats anyways. If you've got a weird cat, you might want to try to get Mush Puppies and see if he'll eat them. But the Mojo's is the way to get your mushroom to your cat and dog. But the Coriolis versicolor. So even if you've got one of both, it's a great way to give each of them the same treat and not have to get crazy with it. Those are only $17.99. So again, really inexpensive ways to get in and start giving your animal some of these benefits. But if your animal's actually got some actual sickness, first off, you probably should look at the food you're feeding them. Check out the chemicals that are on it. They have amazing foods. They've got these special sauces. If you're already feeding them good food, then this is a way to get more of that mushroom into their regular food. If you're feeding them crap food, they've got all sorts of different foods that you can choose when you go to the dogs tab. For example, they've got freeze-dried, which expands 4 times the size when you add water to it, so you can actually make it like a moist, yummy meal for the dog. And one thing that's fun, I don't know if any of you guys do it. We used to do it with our dog, and it's just a fun way. and I've seen others do it. But when we'd prepare food, we'd prepare or act like we're preparing a little something, something for her, and then we'd pop it out of a pot into her bowl while we were eating. So she always felt like she was a part of that feeding time, and my dog loved that. So that's one of the fun things you can do with freeze-dried food, especially is when you're cooking food, maybe you got a little water going, you heat it up a little bit or something, and then mix it with the dog, and then set it over by where you guys eat, and now you all get to eat together. And again, pack animals, they just love that kind of stuff. Cats, far more sophisticated. I don't know shit about cats. I've had a couple. I still don't realize. I don't know how many times you can pet it before it'll bite you or scratch you because you've pet it one too many times. Cats are weird. Like, they love it, and they're arching the back. Like, I love it. And you're like, and then they get you, and you're like, okay, I didn't know. I didn't see that coming. You gave zero warnings that I had stepped over some boundary. I don't want to insult you, stupid cat. But daggum. So, who knows? But special sauce, they've got that. They've got foods as well. Great stuff. So, again, go to danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. Amazing products for dogs, cats, horses, and people, by the way. Great stuff. Using them myself, and they help. danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's danradiostyle.petclub247.com. That's right. I did it. I went there. Sometimes you should. Operation Warp Speed official questions against COVID. Vaccine purity. They got some worries that they may ingrate into DNA. Robert Redfield is talking about this stuff. That's the dude that's missing the mustache, got the whole round the face thing going, except I think the middle of the head. Middle of the head and the mustache. He's got this weird, I don't know, just this weird highlight. Again, love the dude. Love him. Not trying to be a dick. If I lose all my hair, which it's thinning enough, I shouldn't really be keeping my mouth shut. It's really what should be happening. But yeah, they're coming out, and they got some serious questions, official questions about this COVID vaccine purity. Don't know if this is his attempt to get brought into RFK Jr.'s world. There's been discussions that he wants to be, and maybe he will be. So yeah, we'll see. Kind of cool. Keep those branches strong or plumb, or I don't know. Planned Parenthood stomach churning emails talking about negotiating for fetus donations have been exposed. I'm sure there's so many horrible things that are within that organization. What abortion actually represents, what they do with it, how it's so, people, he's like, the vegans are my favorite, because the vegans are like, don't hurt an animal. And it's like, they literally intentionally kill children so they can, and I say that as an abortion, it's intentionally killed child, and then so they can use its stuff. They literally just recycle it. It's weird. Very weird. I mean, probably if you're a hunter and you caught yourself an animal, like a deer or something, and you used all of it, it'd be like, oh, good job. But if you're like a human and you caught yourself a dead human and then you used it all, we'd be like, you're weird. So yeah, I don't think that's what you're supposed to do. You're just not supposed to kill each other. Kill an animal, it's one thing. That's, use it all. You shouldn't waste. That's horrible. You shouldn't kill humans. Whoa, stop right there. No, stop it. Stop killing humans. So yeah, the truth is coming out. It's disgusting. Texas board approves Bible curriculum option in public schools. Kind of cool. K-5 curriculum allows Bible teachings in classrooms. You can opt your kid in, I'm sure, because I don't think your kid gets a whole lot to say on this matter and shouldn't. How do you feel, Johnny, today? Are you Johnny or are you Johanna? Who do you feel like today? No, they don't get the choice. Johnny's Johnny, Johanna's Johanna. If you keep making boys and husband get your shit together, figure out how to shoot out some Y chromosomes so you can maybe pop a girl. I'm sorry, another X chromosome, my bad.
Assault or domestic abuse
you're not allowed
then girlfriend Cassie.
You're not allowed to start on your own. No, you are not. I'm going to go ahead and shut you down, ABC. F you. Because they'll probably do it again. Here's another one, maybe. Pause that. Ooh, gross. Massachusetts Institute of Technology is going to waive its tuition for families making less than $200,000. And anybody making under $100,000, they're going to full ride. That's kind of cool. If your family makes good money and they can afford to pay it, which they're saying I think is roughly about 20% of the people that go there didn't pay, and those that can't won't. That's kind of cool, especially MIT. MIT's I thought had a good kind of. I haven't really seen them get all that political. So hopefully, they're probably really close to Harvard, I think, right? Isn't that kind of close to where Harvard's at? I don't know. That's part of the world I have not experienced much. Giuliani appeals decision ordering him to turn over assets to election workers. He finally got a new lawyer, first off, because the other ones quit. Probably because they weren't getting paid. I would assume that's part of it. That's a good reason to quit in general, too. But all said, he's now fighting it. They're now trying to appeal. He's given some stuff up, agreed to give some stuff up, not given other stuff. I agree. I don't think these two ladies should get $146 million. It's just insane. That's just insane. And I'm sure Giuliani's just like scratching his bald head every damn day. What the frick? That is so insane. Deep State was pissed at him. They had some pent-up frustration with that dude. Washington Post abruptly removes politics editor Dan Egan after Trump win. They didn't abruptly remove him. He's there till the end of the year, so Jeff Bezos can't make it. We got rid of him immediately in his last days in 2 months, or a month and a half. That doesn't sound very immediate to me at all. I've been immediately removed from positions before. That's much, much faster, trust me. Much faster than that. It's immediate, in fact. So, yeah, Bezos has been, I don't know, this guy's probably done a bad job from the whole standpoint of trying to deal with politics on the WAPO. Washington Post lost a whole bunch of people when they didn't actually go for Kamala Harris, though I don't know. I don't know. In all honesty, it might have cost Amazon money in that regard from them, but not from the paper. I think very few conservatives are actually subscribed to Washington Post, right? So it was kind of a weird move. They probably should have just said they're all about Kamala Harris, but then the paper would never have survived because what's happening right now. So maybe he saw the writing on the wall. Hard to say. Hard to say. He's getting a lot of crap, and he should be, and he just fired their politics editor because obviously he wasn't very good. Obviously. Forensic pathologist tells Daniel Penny trial there is no way Jordan Neely died from subway chokehold. He says the drugs and homelessness and he had health issues too on top of that were likely what caused his death, not the fact that he was held in a chokehold. And many eyewitnesses were saying at one point that he was still breathing after he released the chokehold and then died later. I mean, I don't know how much later, like shortly thereafter, I think, but it seems he probably didn't kill him. He was when it was talked about by I want to say the prosecution, they referred to him as like the white guy or something like they brought race into it. It's just so strange how this guy was homeless. He was literally mentally deranged and caused problems and freaked a bunch of people out. And a dude like saved people from this guy. Now, does it make you wonder, is this guy like maybe a plant? Maybe he wasn't really retarded, but he was, I mean, it's just weird. It's so freaking weird. It blows my, I mean, again, the fact that someone died is horrible, but the dude was being chastised in a subway where they could push you out onto the third rail and fry you. It's crazy. Daniel Penny, 24, put a homeless felon in a fatal chokehold to stop him from attacking passengers. His bail, $200,000. Mohammed Izzedin, 22, raped a woman at knife point after breaking into her home. He was released without bail. This is why we took over. This is why I want to see major audits happen on the elections, because I don't think the red wave has not been represented nearly as large as it actually was, nor the last major election either. 2020, we obviously got a lot of blue wash on our red, and it sure sounds like they've done the same to us now as well. Well, it is progressing. We're getting there. And I don't know. I think it's just mostly funny. I've been ignoring this story for a couple days. Ellen and her lovely wife, whoever she is, Portia de Rossi, they have moved to England, the southern part. I don't remember if it was southeast or southwest. Southern part. And what's funny is that's obviously where it's warmer. It's not the north. England's really cold. It's bloody cold this time of year. So the southern part's probably a wee bit better. All said, she's apparently now, Ellen DeGeneres, has apparently now dyed her hair brown. Probably because she didn't want to get recognized or something like that. Oh, her life has been borderline ruined because of, well, being an absolute horrible human being. Well done, Ellen. Well done. I actually liked you way back in the day. And then I think you went to Epstein Island, or you had the whole volleyball face thing with Hillary, or however that all happened. And then you killed your girlfriend, the first one, or reasonably recent. Yeah, it's strange world we're all living in. Lots happening, guys. Don't put your dukes down. Don't let down your defenses. Don't relax. Sorry to say, we are a long way from done with this shift. We got a lot more work. Your break is over. Time to get up and get moving. Major stuff's going to be going down over the next few weeks. Stay strong. Stay frosty, as they say. Keep paying attention and do your best to find common ground with those around you. It's going to be one of the most important things we accomplish during this crazy time. I love you guys. And for those of you that are, at least from my vantage point, are going to see me in about 2 hours, I look forward to it. I love all you guys when you hang out and live. And just, again, that whole chat conversation has nothing to do with me. It's like a world in and of itself. It's fantastic. They just let me hang out with them somewhat on Fridays. But doing some great 80s rock music this week, and I'm excited about that. If you have a chance, you should check out the music show. Maybe while you're working the treadmill and stuff. It's a lot of great music. I try to keep the breaks reasonably short and just try to keep the music pumping. Happy Friday, guys. I love you. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.